Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through some of the problems on the 10D Part 2 assignment. Okay, number 15, in this Venn diagram, the universal set U is the sheep and a pen. So all these little dots here are sheep, apparently. Each dot represents sheep. The event B that a sheep has, the event B is is that sheep have black wool. So all three of these have black wool. Okay, and so these three are assumed to not have black wool. Find the probability that a randomly selected sheep has black wool. So there are three out of the total. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 3 out of the 17 sheep have black wool. So we would simply divide 3 by 17, and that would give us a 17.6% chance that that the sheep that is drawn from this pen, if it was a randomly selected sheep, 17.6% chance that it would have black wool. Okay. All right. 17. In a survey at an alpine resort, people were asked whether they liked skiing or snowboarding. Results are shown in the Venn diagram. Find the probability that a randomly chosen person at the resort likes both activities. So there are 9 that are in this shared circle here. So 9 out of the total. And now we got to figure out the total, which is 15 plus 9 plus 37. And the 4 that don't like any is going to be what? So we've got 15 plus 9 plus 37 and 4. Give us 65 total people. So that's going to be 9 out of the 65 people that are up there like both. So we will do 9 divided by 65. And that is 13.8% of the people. Okay. Okay, for C, it says how many like exactly one activity. That's going to be these people, because these 9 people like both, and these 4 people don't like either. 15 people like just snowboarding, and 37 people like just skiing. Okay, so we add those together, and we'll get 15 plus 37 is going to give us 52. So then we'll take 52 out of the 65 to figure out what our percent of people like exactly one activity. So 52 divided by 65, and we will get 80%. Okay. All right. Moving on to 18. This Venn diagram shows the number of students in a particular class who study geography and history, H. Find the probability that a randomly selected student in the class studies both of these subjects. So that's going to be those 17 out of, let's see, 17 plus 3 is 25, 29. 17 out of 29 total. Right? Okay, so we take 17 divided by 29, and that gives us 0.586, or 58.6%. And then find the probability that a randomly selected student studies only geography. That's going to be these 5 out of the total 29. Okay, so we take 5 divided by 29, and we get 0.172, 17.2% of the time. Okay, moving on, 19. This triple Venn diagram shows the number of students in a group who play soccer, rugby, or archery. Excuse me. Find the probability that a randomly chosen student plays only rugby. So these are all the rugby players. There are 9 that only do rugby, because these 3 do rugby and soccer. These 0 people we don't have anybody that does rugby and archery, but we have 2 people that do soccer, rugby, and archery. Okay, so on this one here, we get 9 out of, and then we got to find the total amount. So that's basically just add those things all up. I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, add them all up. That's 44 total. Okay, so 9 out of 44 Gives us 20.5% if we round it off. Okay. What is the probability that the randomly chosen person does not play soccer or rugby? So we know there's 44 people that we're choosing from. So the people that don't play, so they're not in the soccer, so none of those people, or they're not in the rugby. So that would leave these 7 plus 10. That would leave these 17 people. Okay. So we would just now take the 17 divided by 44, and we get 38.6%. All right. Excuse me. Again, the reason why we have does not play soccer or rugby. So again, we want to take out all the people that play soccer or rugby, and it's just going to be the people that are left over, which are these 7 and 10 people, because these 7 do just archery, and these 10 don't do anything. Okay? Or any of those 3. All right, 21. 50 married men were asked whether they give their wife flowers or chocolates. Gave their wife flowers or chocolates for the last birthday. 31 gave chocolates. So let's do this. Flowers, chocolates. 31 gave chocolates, 12 gave flowers, and 5 gave both. Display this information on a Venn diagram. So flowers, chocolates. Here's what I always like to do on this to make my life so much easier. Always try to find this middle number first. So how many gave both flowers and chocolates? 5 did. So 5 is going to go in there. Now it says 12. Oops. Sorry about that. 12 gave flowers. So there's going to be 12 total in this circle. But we know that 5 of those 12 people also gave chocolates. So we're going to have to do 12 minus 5. To get that there are 7 that gave just flowers. Okay, so we got those taken care of. And then 31, there's 31 total in this over here. So we take 31 minus 5. That gives us that there's 26 that gave just chocolates. Okay, and then let's see how many deadbeats we have out here. So that would be 50 minus all 3 of those together, right? 26 plus 5 and 7. So that's going to be 38. So there's 38. There's going to be 12 deadbeats out there that don't do anything. Lamos. Anyway, so we have, if one displays information on Venn diagram, check. If one of the married men was chosen at random, determine the probability that he gave his wife chocolates but not flowers. So here's chocolates. That's chocolates and flowers. There's chocolates, not flowers. So that's going to be 26 out of the 50, which is going to end up giving us 52%. Okay. All right. Moving on here to number 23. The medical records for a class of 30 children showed that 24 previously had measles. So we got measles. 12 previously had measles and mumps. So this one's going to be mumps over here. And 26 had previously had at least one of those. Okay, so again, important part, try to find this middle thing here first. Okay, because we have to determine the probability, so you're going to want to fill out this Venn diagram. It's going to make your life so much easier. So let's see, 12 of them had measles and mumps. So this 12 is going to go here. Okay, I like to cross them off once I've used them so I don't go back and try to use them again. Let's see, there's 30 total children in here. 24 had the measles. So there's 24 total in this measles. So 24 minus 12 is going to leave us with 12 here as well. And then it says 26 previously had at least one of these 3. So we know that this plus this plus this is going to have to equal 26. So we have 26 total. We know that these 2 together, because we already had this, 24 previously had measles. There's 24 total in there. Minus the 24, give us that there are 2 that had just the mumps. Okay. So determine the probability that he or she had the mumps but not the measles. So that's going to be these two out of the total 30 kids, right? So we take 2 and divide it by 30, and we get 6.7%. So not a very high likelihood. Okay. Moving on to 24. In this Venn diagram, U is the set of all 60 members. So there's, oops, keep doing that. So we've got 60 total members in here of a club. The members that indicate their liking for Chinese, Italian, and Thai. Chinese, Italian, and Thai. Okay. Find the value of K. So look, we have all the numbers except for this one right here. Since we know that all of these numbers here have to add up to 60, we can figure out what the K is by adding all those up. 12 plus 8 plus 14 plus 3 plus 7 plus 4 plus K plus, don't forget this 7 right here, all have to add up to be 60. Okay? Okay, so add those numbers all up. We get 55 plus K equals 60. So subtract 55 from both sides. And we get that K has to equal 5 on that. Okay, so there's this one. A randomly chosen member is asked about their preferences. Find the probability that the member likes only Italian. So that's going to be these 14 out of 60. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to set them all up, and then we'll go back later on and calculate them all out. Okay, so how many like none of these foods? That's these 7 out of the total 60. Okay, and then how many like all of these foods? That's this 7 out of 60. And then how many of them, excuse me, like either Thai or Italian? So Thai or Italian. So that's, these 4 people like Thai and Italian. These 7 people like all 3. But if we're going to go with, since it says Thai or Italian, that means we got to get anybody that's in either of those 2 circles. So basically, probably the easiest way to do this is cross out all the people that aren't in there. So it's just those 2 groups that don't like Thai or Italian. So if we take 7 plus 12, that's 19. So all but 19 like Thai or Italian. So if we do 60 minus 19, that gives us 41. So this one should be 41 out of 60. Okay? And now we can go through and calculate all these answers. Okay, so that's what we end up with for all of these here. Okay, so let's see, we got a couple more to take a look at here. 26. All right, so Venn diagram opposite indicates the types of programs a group of 40 individuals watched on TV last night. M represents movies, represents sports, and D represents dramas. Given that 10 people watched a movie last night, calculate A and B. So we know that this group in here has to be 10. So 4 plus 2 is 6, 7. So that means A has to equal 3, right? And then it says there's 40 total individuals. So we got to add all these up plus the B. And that should equal 40, right? So 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3 plus 1 plus 12 plus the b all has to equal 40, okay? So adding those all up is 28 plus b equals 40. Subtract 28 from both sides. And we should get that b has got to equal 12. And we figured out already that a is 3. Oops, b is 12. Except for I forgot to add this 9 in here. So if we add that extra 9 in there, that is 37. Let me just erase this and make this a little bit better. Oops, that's too big. So this is going to be 37 instead of 28. So subtract 37 from both sides and we get b is 3, not 12. Okay. All right, find the probability that one of these individuals selected at random watched sports. Okay, so how many of these people watch sports? So let's see, this was 3 we also figured out. Okay, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 out of the 40 that watch sports. Okay, so 12 out of 40 gives us 30%. How many people watched a movie but not sports? So movies but not sports, we can't include those. So we have to include just these two groups here, right? So that's going to be our 7 out of 40, okay? Because these 3 people here also, like they watched a movie, let's see, but they also both these groups watched sports as well. So we got 7 out of 40. Okay, so we do 7 divided by 40, and we get 17.5%. Okay, and then how many watched a drama or a movie? Okay, so drama or movie, so that's everybody. That is everybody in this group right here, including that 3 that I scratched out. So it's everybody except for these 15 people. So again, probably our easiest way to do that is 40 minus 15 out of the total 40, which is 25 out of 40, which will give us 0.625. So we get 0.625. So 62.5%. Okay. One last one to take a peek at, 25. As a group bonding project, 50 delegates at a European conference were asked what languages they had conversations in at lunchtime. The data collected is summarized alongside. Construct a Venn diagram to display the information. So here's our Venn diagram. And then we're going to find the probability. So we know that there's 50 total in this. So we've got English, French, and Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out the middle number. Again, is what we want to figure out first. English, French, and Spanish. That's 1 right here. French and Spanish. Now this is a little tricky because this says French and Spanish only. If it says French and Spanish, then I would say we'd take the 4 minus the 1. But since it says French and Spanish only, I'm going to assume that that has to be a 4. This is a little bit of a tricky question here. Okay. Usually we don't see the onlys on there, so they're actually trying to make it a little bit nicer. So those 4 go here. English and Spanish only. English and Spanish only, there were 6. English and French only is 3. And then only Spanish is this 12 right here. Only French is this 7 right here. And only English is this 17 right here. Okay, construct a Venn diagram to display the information. We still need to figure out how many people didn't, well, hopefully they all spoke one of those, but it's possible that they didn't speak any of the other ones. Let's add them all up just to double check. So that's 27, 31, 32, 38, 48, 50. Okay, so all 50 people spoke one of those 3 languages or a combination. Okay, so we did that. Find the probability a randomly selected delegate had a conversation in English. So that's all of these. Okay, so that's 21, 27. So that's going to be 27 out of the total 50, right? Okay, and then let's see, let's just calculate that really quick. So we got 27 divided by 50, and that gives us 54%. Okay, and then we also have Spanish, but not in English. So everyone that was in this here, but not in those groups there. So it's going to be these 12 plus 4, 16 out of the 50, right? So 16 divided by 50, I think it's going to give us 32, isn't it? Yep, 0.32, 32%. Okay? Okay, those are the selected problems from the 10D Part 2 assignment. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks.